Today's game features Mikhail Tal playing as white against Vladimir Eduardovich Akopian as black. Move 1. White pawn to e4. Black pushes forward to c5. White knight jumps to f3. Black knight hops to c6. Move 5. White plants the bishop on b5. And here, black advances to d6. White responds with short castle. Black places the bishop on d7. White repositions the rook, developing with tempo. Black repositions the knight to f6. White now advances the pawn. It's black's turn. Pushes to a6. Continuing, white fianchettos the bishop. Black establishes a pawn on c4. We're at move 15. White pushes to d4. Black pawn takes piece on d3. And here, white brings out the dark squared bishop, improving minor piece coordination. And here, pawn moves to e6. White boldly takes pawn with the queen. Black plants the bishop on e7. Next, bishop captures knight. Black continues with pawn strikes, capturing the bishop. White continues with bishop takes knight. Black bishop takes bishop on c6. We're at move 25. White pawn to c4, building a decisive advantage. Black plays kingside castling. White maneuvers the knight to c3. Black king walks to h8. White continues with brings the rook to d1, provoking weaknesses. Next, brings the rook to g8. White plays the queen enters the battle. Black queen joins the attack. This is a critical moment. White now plays knight to d4. Preparing tactical blows. Black doubles rooks on the file. Move 35. White pushes to f4. At this point, improves the bishop's scope, opening up the position. White advances the pawn. Black continues with develops the bishop to d8. White maneuvers the knight to f3, coordinating for maximum effect. Continuing, black advances the pawn to b5. White repositions the queen to a7. Black develops the bishop to c7. Next, white queen takes pawn, making progress step by step. Black pawn strikes, capturing the pawn. Move 45. White the pawn marches forward. The technique is impeccable. Black slides the queen to g7, creating passed pawns. Next, white the pawn marches forward. Black pushes the passed pawn to d5. At this point, white pawn captures pawn. Black bishop takes the pawn. White the king becomes active. Next, pushes to f5, not ideal. Now, white pawn captures bishop. Black now plays queen captures knight, offering material. On move 55, white slides the queen to d6. Moving forward, black bishop slides to a4. White rook moves behind the passed pawn, pushing for the win. And here, black rook shifts to g7, an inaccuracy. White pawn captures pawn. Black now places the bishop on c6. White brings the knight to g5, simplifying the position. Black continues with rook takes knight. A mistake. Interestingly, white activates the queen in the endgame. And check. A forcing move, creating a breakthrough. Black moves the rook to g7. On move 65, white cuts off the enemy king with the rook. With check, the path to victory is clear. Black rook takes rook. White queen captures queen, moving closer to victory. Black pushes the passed pawn to f6. Moving forward, white pushes forward to e7. Black brings the rook to a8. Now, white queen takes pawn. Moving forward, plants the bishop on e4. A questionable choice. Interestingly, white rook to g1. Checkmate is unavoidable in 5 moves. Black rook takes pawn, checking the king. On move 75, white king to e1. The game is essentially over. Checkmate in 3. Vladimir Eduardovich Akopian resigns. Mikhail Tal wins the game.